Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Liam Murphy, fantasy football expert, back. Going to do things a little different today. Prepared to either talk all things best ball, kind of go through my teams, talk about, just the all, and kind of answer some questions I'm seeing in the Discord, or we can do the usage stream where I go game by game. I go through who scored points. I give who ran the routes using PFF chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a poll here for, 3 to 5 minutes and ask you which one you guys want to see. Which one do you guys want to see? We're adaptive on this channel. Which stream? And I'll do option A as all things best ball, and option B, fantasy football usage. So let your voice be heard. What do you want to see today? I'll wait a little bit so people can stroll in. What do you guys want to see? I'm assuming I might have time to do both. Probably fire a stream tomorrow too. It is my birthday on Thursday. Happy birthday to me. So no stream Thursday. Let's see. Early votes. Oh, it's close. Fantasy football usage is edging it out. We'll wait. We'll run a timer for 2 minutes and vote. Democracy, folks. Democracy at work. I can even share that. What do you got? What do you got, folks? Do not make this a 50-50. Do not make this 50-50. If it's 50-50, we're doing status quo. All things best ball is now leading. Should this be like, when you need to have a super majority, 60% or something? A lot of people do fantasy usage stuff, so it's not like that's unique to me. Maybe I give better takes. Maybe I give worse takes. If it's 50-50, Liam will stream chess. Yeah, so let's talk about this. Have a ton of basketball teams sitting around 50 points from cash line. Still hope with all the bye weeks left. Yeah, Travis, man. I've seen gaps of like 100 points closed in like 2 weeks. Just think through it, right? Like a good team, assuming your roster is healthy, like if you have Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors, it's probably over, folks. That's what it is. But if your roster has like Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., it's just disappointing right now. Maybe Mike Evans returns, maybe Kittle returns. If you drop 160 points in a week and a guy who's in second drops 80, so you have a good week and they have a stinker, the gap is closed. Boom. Right? It's a literal 50-50. So what I'm going to do on a 50-50 dead heat is I kind of want to just do all things best ball, but I don't want to mess up the folks who come for the usage. So we'll do usage and then we'll do usage and then we'll see if we have time for best ball. And if not, we'll do best ball either later today or tomorrow. So here's how I do this. Got to pull up the Nathan Yankee PFF. He's the one who provides the route run data. Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. And then pull up another tab here with the scores. Don't know if I'll do usage the whole season. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Like generally usage dies down eventually because it's like, okay, the guys are playing their guys unless an injury occurs, right? Now, unfortunately, injuries, I think we got to talk before we even get into this. It seems like an especially bad year for injuries, and I wish I could tell you things will get better, but that's not guaranteed, right? It's not guaranteed. And it kind of ties into a discussion that was happening in my Discord. The link to join that is below, where people were like, oh, talking about the eliminator. And they're like, oh, like I would have, I can't believe I drafted any teams before August. Like zeros are so bad. And I'm pretty firmly against that. I think it's pretty results oriented to think that way. Number one, injuries can go both ways, right? So there is absolutely nothing stopping, NFL training camp starts and Saquon, Josh Jacobs, and Kyren Williams all just tear an ACL. That could happen. If that happens in a season, what's going to be optimal? Well, it's obviously going to be teams drafted early that have Blake Corum, Will Shipley, and Marshawn Lloyd, assuming health, as starting running backs that go up to 5th round, 4th round values, but we're cheap, right? So that can happen in a season. The other thing that happened this year is I think people were kind of especially stupid in August. Number one, Puka Nacua falling to the 2nd round. You guys know on this channel I was firmly against that. Had him ranked as 7th almost the whole season. And the other thing that happened is Quinshon Judkins fell to like the 14th round. Sure, you're not going to draft guys like Marshawn Lloyd as much in August, who could still be a league winner, right? But I think people were particularly bad. Like Rashee Rice falling 6th, like that's going to pay some dividends here. So, yeah, I just firmly disagree, especially for the eliminator where it's a quality game. You feel like it's a quantity game now because you still have 13 teams, whatever, but you give it 3 weeks, no one will have more than like 2, 3 teams. So go ahead, advance as many teams as you want. It doesn't really matter. It's about getting the perfect team with the best roster you can have and then getting lucky in pods, right? And having a quote unquote super team, some people are like, oh, you don't need a super team because it's a head-to-head format. You far more need a super team in something like the eliminator than you do in Best Ball Mania, right? In Best Ball Mania, the points are wiped clean once the playoffs start. So you go from squeaking into the playoffs and boom, you're in an individual pod. Got to score the best there. Same thing again the next week. Same thing again in the finals, where really what's valuable is using last year, you didn't want Saquon, you wanted Jonathan Taylor. You want the low-owned stud who is still valuable but just hasn't had a great regular season. In the eliminator, though, you do want a super team. You want a team that just consistently week in, week out can score 130, 140, 150, 160. And the teams that go far are going to more correlate with the super team, just like they do in total points formats. Obviously, super teams are what win. And the eliminator teams that do well are going to be more similar to the total points teams that win than they will for Best Ball Mania, where the score gets wiped cleaned after the regular season, right? The goal in Best Ball Mania is just to kind of like squeak into the playoffs sometimes with a healthy roster. So, yeah, injuries are defining the season. Tyreek Hill out for the year. Malik Neighbors out for the year. Again, wish I could tell you, brighter horizons, but there's nothing guaranteeing that in this game. Literally 7 players could break their legs next week. That's the game we're playing, folks. It is what it is. It was a great week for rookies as well. We'll get into that. Let's just jump into the game. So going back in time, we got the Seahawks prevailing over the Cardinals 23-20. Sam Darnold 242-1. Kenneth Walker 19 carries, 81 yards. Charbonnet 12 carries, 40 yards and a touchdown. Ken Walker did get a taunting penalty, which maybe led to some benching in this game. I saw people overreacting to the Ken Walker usage early in this game. I think it should be remembered that Zach Charbonnet missed the game for injury. It would be logical that he doesn't play a full complement of snaps. Yeah, man. I almost wish I didn't stream the James Cook thing. If I just kept it close to the chest, but I couldn't, JSN, Didn't score a touchdown, but 4 for 80. AJ Barner got a touchdown. I actually have some AJ Barner. And Arroyo looked kind of good too. For the Cardinals, people were like bullying Marvin Harrison Jr. He had a good game, 666 and 1. I think Trey Benson's a buy low if anyone's panicking. Kyler Murray, 2 touchdowns. Mercado caught a touchdown. This team, they kind of stink. Usage-wise, so Torrey Horton only 12 routes. That might change eventually with with Cooper Kupp being pedestrian. 26 routes for him. AJ Barner and Arroyo, 21 routes and 19 routes. So this team is running 12 personnel. And a lot of good football teams are running 12 personnel. I kind of got hip to this in the draft when I noticed a lot of teams drafting a second tight end. I was like, oh, teams are like, they're seeing what the good teams are doing and they're copying that. Like, you think of the good teams, they got 2 tight ends. The Bills, the Eagles, the Ravens, right? I mean, maybe the Ravens aren't good. But Arroyo and Barner both running routes. And then Charbonnet and Walker even on the snaps, pretty even on the carries, pretty even on the routes run. Again, curious what Charbonnet looks like a week healthier. For the Cardinals, Zay Jones missed this one. I don't know if that was a healthy inactive or an injury. I'm assuming it was injury. So Greg Dortch is your wide receiver 3. And then Trey Benson didn't play a ton, but it's Thursday Night Football. 37 snaps to 26, 22 routes to 17, 8 carries to 2, 5 targets to 2. All right, enough of that game. Kicked it off with a Dublin game, and unfortunately for my bags, like I don't have as much of the season-ending injuries other than Jaden Reed, which stings, but I have a lot of the injuries like for my bags for best ball. Mike Evans, George Kittle, Jaylen Warren, guys missing some time, and that adds up, so kind of feel good about those stances, but is what it is, folks, right? Steelers, somehow I scrolled back to preseason. Don't know what I'm doing there. Steelers beat the Vikings, though, pretty convincingly despite the score, 24-21. Vikings, Carson Wentz has a good day on paper, 350 and 2, but did not have a good day if you watch the game. Jordan Mason, 16 carries, but the Xavier Scott guy is playing a lot and getting receptions. So tough for my Aaron Jones. Oh, Aaron Jones, another one. Tough for my Aaron Jones bags, like seeing all these receptions to a running back. Addison comes back in the lineup and is pretty good, 4 for 114. Jefferson gets spammed for targets here, 10 for 126. The Steelers, I mean, Kenneth Gainwell just looked legit good. I would definitely pick him up in managed leagues. 19 carries, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. Caleb Johnson still sucks, 6 for 22. Pretty encouraging for Jaylen Warren that the Steelers have a bye this week. So I would think that Jaylen Warren, he got banged up in practice. He gets the rest for the bye. Bye's coming at a good time. He probably plays after the bye, but I don't know. DK Metcalf, 5, 126 and 1. This is kind of the DK Metcalf I envisioned. Followers of this channel would know that I've said that I don't think Aaron Rodgers is done. I think he tore his Achilles and now he has a full year to recover. And this is like the DK Metcalf winning in the ways I envisioned. It's like you throw a slant to him, he shrugs off his guy, and he goes and runs 80 yards and scores a touchdown. So 5, 126 and 1 for him. Calvin Austin had to go to the hospital. Don't know how serious that is, but certainly doesn't sound good. Maybe opens the window for Roman Wilson. And the tight end stuff is a mess, man. Let's look at that usage. So Jordan Addison just inserts in 52 routes, 8 targets. He slipped on that long one that could have been a touchdown. Bummer there. Jalen Naylor is your wide receiver 3. Why did they trade for Thielen? I don't know. You don't know. With Carson Wentz not looking that good and eating like 5 trillion sacks, I do think we'll see J.J. McCarthy back sooner than later. And yeah, Xavier Scott's playing a lot. 29 snaps compared to 47 for Mason. 23 routes compared to 20. 7 targets compared to 3. No carries at all, though. So Mason will be getting the groundwork. For the Steelers, Ben Skowronek picked up the routes when Calvin Austin left. 9 routes for him. So maybe they're stubborn and it's Scotty Miller and Ben Skowronek, but hope for Roman Wilson at least. Obviously hope Calvin Austin is okay. And then, yeah, very disappointing for like Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth. Darnell Washington led the way in snaps and routes run and targets. Jonnu, 13 snaps, 10 routes, 3 targets. Darnell Washington, 48, 16, and 3. He's a huge human, but I mean, we know Jonnu has juice if he's going to get targeted. It just wasn't. And then, yeah, Caleb Johnson is still a 0. 11 snaps, 6 carries without Jaylen Warren. 41 snaps for Gainwell, 19 carries, 6 targets, 17 routes. Was legit one of the best players on the field. Commanders at Falcons. Falcons came back and won, and like everyone scored well for them. 34-27 for the Falcons. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. A reminder not to overrate a week. Bijan, 75 yards and a touchdown. Tyler Algier, 51 yards and a touchdown. Drake London, 110 and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 106 receiving yards. Kyle Pitts, 570 and a touchdown. Darnell Mooney left with a hamstring injury, and I don't know the severity there. Probably going to miss some time. Helps condense it for everyone. Saw some stats where it's like Drake London in games without Darnell Mooney has been a smash. For the Commanders, think we see Jaden Daniels next week, but I do not know. 156 yards and 2 touchdowns for Mariota. The running backs, 7 for 59 for Chris Rodriguez, 7 for 47 for JCM, 3 for 9 for Debo. Debo, 672 and a touchdown without Terry. Luke McCaffrey, another touchdown. Zach Ertz, 2 for 21. It's kind of a mess without Jaden. Usage-wise, Chris Moore is second on the team in routes with no Noah Brown and no Terry. Disappointing for the Jalen Lane bags. The running backs, it's 20 snaps for Chris Rodriguez. It's 20 for JCM, and it's 19 for Jeremy McNichols. Gross. JCM was banged up going into the week, so maybe he earns more as it goes, but currently this is terrible. For the Falcons, with Darnell Mooney getting hurt, Ray McLeod and KC Washington picked up the routes. Kyle Pitts, man, pretty good. And then, yeah, Tyler Algier is just like, if Tyler Algier carries did not exist, Bijan is a tremendous smash. Even as is, he's pretty awesome. But just imagine if Tyler Algier was not getting 16 carries a game. And like Algier's startable in deep leagues. The Bills beat the Saints 31-19. Game felt close at times, but really, as a Bills fan, the Bills were like playing like the Bills were like playing rookies who otherwise would not play against another opponent. So they were doing the thing where it's like, you know what? Let's see what this corner's got here. Let's see what happened here. The Bills have a ton of guys kind of hurt. The big one is Spencer Brown, their right tackle, one of the best right tackles in football. What that did is it really impacted Dalton Kincaid routes because they played Jackson Hawes, the blocking tight end, the most. Stats-wise, Josh Allen, 2 touchdowns, also 45 rushing yards and a touchdown. James Cook, 22 carries, 120 yards and a touchdown. Joe Brady did say that they got to do a better job of playing like Ray Davis, but James Cook, man, he's unreal. And I told, like, everyone was so focused on, like, James Cook only plays 50% of the snaps. I was like, what if we dare ask, what if he plays 10% more of the snaps as an ascending young player, you know? Watch the games, folks. James Cook, though, unreal. Also chipped in 3 catches for 18 yards. Ray Davis, man, he just does not look good when he plays. Khalil Shakir had an awesome yard after catch, touchdown, 5, 69, and 1. Keon Coleman looked good, 3 for 45, but they mostly ran the ball. Dalton Kincaid also looks very good. Only 2 targets in the game, though. 1 catch, 28 yards, and a touchdown. And Curtis Samuel was active for this one, so maybe they're trying to trade him. Don't know. Spencer Rattler ran the football a lot, and kind of the story for the Saints is like Kendre Miller. The Bills are struggling to tackle right now. 11 carries, 65 yards, and a touchdown for Kendre Miller. Chris Olave threw an interception on a sick play from the Bills safety, but he also caught a touchdown. Kendre, I think, is a hold and manage because we got to see what happens at the trade deadline with Kamara. 15 carries, 70 yards for him. The Saints are like fun bad, 4 catches, 47 yards for Rashid Shaheed. Nothing doing for Juwan, as really no tight end has got there against the Bills. Usage-wise, I think the big one for the Saints is 21 snaps for Kendre compared to 49 for Kamara. 11 carries compared to 15. He broke a lot of tackles, Kendre did. No routes run, though, for Kendre. And then, Brandon Cooks is your wide receiver 3, if you care. For the Bills, the big one is Jackson Hawes led the way in snaps for the Bills. Dalton Kincaid, I think, is like the tight end 3 on the season. Tight end 3? Eat it, haters. Only 2 targets in this one, though. So I think we need to watch for Spencer Brown's health here as far as whether Dalton Kincaid is startable and managed. But, it's tight end. Tight end sucks. So you could do a lot worse than throwing out the guy who can just catch a touchdown from Josh Allen. I think he's at a season high or career best, 3 touchdowns, tying a career best already through week 4. Wide receivers, it's Keon, it's Shakir, and then it's a little bit of Curtis Samuel, a little bit of Elijah Moore. Josh Palmer seems to be the big loser. I think he'll have some games still in best ball, but not holdable and managed. And then Ty Johnson just seems to be the RB2 over James Cook. I do think if James Cook actually got hurt, though, it would be Ray Davis, similar to what we saw last year. So hard to say which backup you'd rather hold. Maybe it's Ty, maybe it's Ray. Cullen, thanks for the super chat. He says, half PPR, 2 flex. I have CMC, Gibbs, Henry at running back. Wide receivers, I had Tyreek, now left with Debo Zay, Keon, Judy, Shaheed. Should I trade CMC or Gibbs for elite wide receiver or trade Henry for like Ladd or hold as is? I'm 4-0. I would trade Henry. I was going to save the Ladd McConkey talk, but let's do it now. He had the biceps injury, and I think that's just like, it just has to be the biceps injury, right? Like, you don't go from being what he was last year to what he is this year. And so I don't know how long that biceps injury is going to hamper him. Like, he dropped several balls in that game against the Giants, and Quentin Johnson definitely looks good. Don't get me wrong. So I'm struggling. Like, I have a league with Ladd and QJ, and I'm struggling. Like, do I bench Ladd for QJ this week? Like, I think I might. Maybe I'll do it just for whatever, but I'd be looking. I don't want to trade CMC and Gibbs, man. Like, that's your core. And the CMC discussion too, like, he's doing this without scoring touchdowns. What happens when he does start scoring touchdowns? That's the best player in fantasy. So if you could trade CMC for like Puka, okay. But like Henry, man, like Henry is trending down. He's trending down. I know the Henry lovers don't want to hear it, but he is. So maybe like a panicked Nico Collins owner you could trade Henry for, something like that. Happens, Blake. I could have won the Thursday showdown if I played the initial lineup for $500K. Instead, I won like $100. Is what it is, Blake. Life goes on. But yeah, Cullen. I'm not trading CMC and Gibbs unless you can get Puka. Pretty much. Okay, moving on from this game. Browns and Lions. Lions prevail pretty easily, 34-10. Joe Flacco is going to get benched sooner here than later, man. Like, so they're going to go to Dylan Gabriel. They're going to go to Shadur, probably Gabriel. And maybe that will be bad for the offense. Story for the Browns, though, is Quinshon Judkins looks awesome. 21 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Cedric Tillman, unfortunately for my bags, also hurt his hamstring, looking like that one's kind of going to be severe. So he'll miss several weeks, if not a month. And Isaiah Bond, 3 for 58. He picked up a lot of the snaps, probably Thrash too, but really Isaiah Bond, who not many people drafted due to domestic violence. Chargers, Jerry Jeudy, 3 for 48. Judkins also chips in 33 yards in the air. Tight end sucked in this one. The Browns stink, man, on offense. But, like, if they had a quarterback, like, trade for Kirk Cousins. They could have been good this year, you know? Like, that defense is unreal. Jared Goff, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, this is insane, Cope, man. CMC's not efficient running the ball, but you don't need to be when you get 15 targets a game. Henry literally gets benched when the Ravens are losing for Justice Hill. Doesn't catch passes. Goff throws 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra catches 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams was targeted a bunch deep. Didn't get there, though. And Gibbs, 15 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown against a tough run defense. He's pretty elite. Gibbs is like a buy low if someone's not like respecting how good he is. Because the touchdowns will come. So Tillman left kind of early, and then it's Jeudy and Bond for route run leaders here. It's Fannin and Njoku tied. So they're just like spamming 12 personnel as well. And I do wonder, like, Dylan Sampson is arguably a cut in managed leagues. And I do wonder, though, if Jerome Ford will be moved at the trade deadline. Like, who's trading for him? Because, what are you hoping for Sampson? I guess a Judkins injury. And even then, it's not that valuable. So, yeah, I have a league with Sampson, and I kind of want to cut him for, like, Gainwell or, like, Malik Washington or whatever, you know? He's just not startable, and he's not that valuable. So, I know the college football dynasty nerds don't like to hear it, but Sampson, probably a cut. For the Lions, it's not an interesting team to talk about. Montgomery still got carries, but yeah, usage-wise, it's the guys. Tesla's not playing that much. That should improve eventually. Yeah, J-Mo almost had a huge day, but didn't connect on the deep ones. Amon-Ra, no ceiling Amon-Ra, smashing. I have some leagues with Amon-Ra and Puka. Titans and Texans. Texans win. Rejoicing for survivor pools everywhere, 26-0. As Cam Ward said, we are ass. And that is true. I think Calvin Ridley's banged up, but yeah, he got out-routed by Tyler Lockett and Malachi Minor. Happy to have full-faded him. Tony Pollard, 14 carries, 64 yards, though Tajay Spears is activated off IR. I was not that too into the Titans. People were like, oh, what if Cam Ward is awesome? Because Jaden Daniels was awesome, and like the Titans are awesome. And I was like, yeah, but like they're probably gonna suck, you know? And yeah, no, I mean, this is just clearly you speaking with your bags, I assume, Brett. Like, both are Bijan looks awesome, don't get me wrong. But come the playoffs, would not be surprised at all if Gibbs drops 40 and Bijan drops 15 in a game. You know? The Texans do not look good. The story for them, though, is Joquavius Marks, Woody Marks, took over the backfield pretty much. 17 carries, 70 yards, a touchdown, 4 catches, 50 yards, a touchdown. Nick Chubb should play less and less. Dameon Pierce, man, I drafted you a lot at the end of the season. Can you get in there? I think reports on Joe Mixon it's not good. Nico Collins, 4 for 80. Touchdown's got to come. Jaden Higgins scores a touchdown, but they're still fooling around. 28 rounds for Nico. Like the Xavier Hutchinson stuff, man. Come on. 20 routes for Kirk. 12 routes for Higgins. 9 routes for Noel. Dalton Schultz, 26 and 6. Woody Marks outsnaps Nick Chubb. Who is British Brooks? Out-routed Nick Chubb. Out-carried Nick Chubb. Out-targeted Nick Chubb. So Chubb trending down. Marks trending up. And the Texans, like, they're 1-3, man, but they stink. The other pick for survivor pools that helped me out, the Patriots destroy the Panthers 42-13. Drake May, 203-2, also scored another rushing touchdown. Travion Henderson got in the box, 732-1, but 9 carries for Ramondre, 7 for Henderson, 6 for Gibson. Gibson scores a touchdown. The big story here is I think they benched Demario Douglas and put Stephon Diggs in the slot, which would be huge for his fantasy appeal. 6 for 101 for him. Hunter Henry, 240-1. He keeps on crushing. Henderson, 2 for 14. He was close to breaking a catch. So better days ahead for Henderson for sure. Panthers. Yeah, I mean, this is the people who are like, oh, Tet McMillan is the best ever. It's just like, yeah, but like the Panthers probably stink, guys. 150 passing yards and a touchdown for Bryce in a game they lost by 30. Tet McMillan, 4 for 62. Doesn't cut it in half PPR land or in even PPR land. Tommy Tremble, 5 for 42. This team stinks. Chuba Hubbard, 10 for 49. He was kind of banged up. Trevor Etienne, 7 for 33. I'm assuming that came in the blowout. Rico Dowdle, 9 for 32. Yeah, just this bad team, man. Tet McMillan, 37 routes. Bryson Tremaine, the cast off, 34 routes. Hunter Renfrow, 21 routes. I guess Leggett was inactive again. Tommy Tremble with Jatavian Sanders hurt, 26 routes. Mitchell Evans, 18 routes. And then 35 snaps for Chuba, 27 for Rico, 11 for Etienne. I mean, how did this team blow out the Falcons? For the Patriots, it was Booty, Diggs, and Matt Collins. And then Kyle Williams got there in a little bit, and Douglas is looking like a 0. Maybe they trade him. I don't know. He was kind of a exciting click at times in best ball, but certainly not now. And then 7 targets for Diggs, like no one else could get any. The Bills play the Patriots in the Stephon Diggs game on Sunday Night Football this week, so that's an exciting game. The Bills defense, you can definitely move the ball on. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Bills are number 1 against the pass and 32nd against the run. And the Patriots are not running the football well. So probably the Bills blow them out, but you never know. 9 carries for Ramondre, 7 for Henderson, 6 for Gibson. This team's got to get serious. If this team gets down big, I'm curious who plays. Are you playing Henderson in a blowout? You would hope. But we'll see. And then, yeah, Austin Hooper's running routes, but so they're running 12 too. Every team's running 12. Chargers lose to the Giants, burning one of my survivor teams. Malik Neighbors lost for the season. Sorry, Malik Neighbors, folks. I didn't have as much of Malik Neighbors. I was just worried about the touchdown upside, similar to Tet. He's obviously an unreal football player, though. 21-18, Giants win. Starting with the Giants, Jackson Dart, not a good passing day, 111 yards, a touchdown, but did chip in 10 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. Cam Scatabo, a very inefficient day, 25 carries, 79 yards, no touchdown. Do you think he got a 2-point conversion? Only 2 for 11 in the air. So yeah, Scatabo's fantasy value goes down a little bit with Dart because Dart's going to run the football a lot more than Russell would. Scatabo got there off of 6 catches. Don't think that will happen with Dart in there. Devin Singletary, 7 carries for 28 yards. So why Tracy is out, while Tracy's out, he's in there. I mean, I don't know who you want with Neighbors out. My guess is Slayton and then Wandale and then Theo, but it's a sad affair. Maybe they trade for someone. Brandon Ayuk, maybe. You never know. They have a great D-line. They could trade Thibodeau. Thanks for the super chat, John32. I'm 2-2. Just lost Malik, which leaves me with Pickens, Ladd, Olave, and Godwin at wide receiver. Would you trade Lamar and Ginty for Garrett Wilson and Javonte? Definitely not. I would not trade Lamar Jackson and Ashton Ginty for Garrett Wilson and Javonte. I think Javonte, he's having fun right now. He's good, but he's going to trend down, and Ginty's going to trend up. And going down from Lamar to a streamer, Like, you're just going to have weeks where you score like 11 points at quarterback, and you're not getting a big enough upgrade to go from Garrett Wilson to over any of your other wide receivers. Like, Godwin's going to trend up. Olave is a buy low. Ladd's a buy low. So I would not, John. I would sit tight or find a better trade. So, yeah, man. Sad affair for the Giants. Chargers land. Justin Herbert, 1 touchdown. They lost their tackle for, I think, a couple weeks, which is going to kill them. O-line injuries really piling up. 12 carries for Omarion Hampton, 128 yards and a touchdown. QJ, 898 and 1. He's like wide receiver 4 on the season. He looks legit good. Keenan Allen, 5 for 37. Yeah, he's going to be boom bust to me. The Giants front seven's unreal. Like, they're like the Browns where if they get the quarterback, watch out. And by the way, I have Dart in some spots. I think he's going to be kind of disappointing. He's going to run the football, but like, they'll probably not be a great team. If you didn't see the Connor Hughes tweet about, I'll just read that because it's the freakiest thing ever. It's like very weird. He's writing like fan fiction. I'm not spelling this right. Help me out, guys. What's the Giants / Jets beat reporter? It's Connor Hughes, but I'm not spelling it right. Maybe it's Connor Hughes. Oh, here we go. Connor Hughes. Okay. So this is like some 50 Shades of Grey thing. I'll just read it as he wrote it. Connor Hughes, Jackson Dart. Okay, here you go. Jackson Dart was among the few players remaining. This is not a troll. This is like a legit reporter. Jackson Dart was among the few players remaining in the Giants locker room. You could tell he was sore. The way he moved from the far corner showers to his stall. How he stood now, collecting himself. Those 6 sacks, 10 hits by the Chargers defense, radiated over him. That's when Brian Daboll joined as quarterback. The two had already embraced each other on the field, but this was different. It was quieter now, less around. Daboll reached his hand out, grabbed the back of Dart's neck, and brought him close. They held each other. Daboll then walked away with a smile. This felt like the start of something. The Giants beat the previously unbeaten Chargers on Sunday, 21-18. They did it with a ferocious pass rush of their own, and that young quarterback who showed exactly why his coach turned to him with his back against the wall. It says a lot about our guys, said Daboll. It says a lot about number 6. It's just crazy, man. He also tweeted something like, I could have said more. So yeah, I don't know what that 50 Shades of Grey thing was. Anyways, usage-wise, Ladd is still out there. And again, he was dropping balls in this one. I think it has to be the biceps injury. And I'm tempted to buy low, but I don't know if you can start him until we see a good game. You know what I mean? I think I have this league with QJ and Jordan Addison and Romeo Dobbs. And I think I give Ladd the week off. I play QJ or someone, and I wait for him to show me he's healthy again. Because the dropping the football thing, man, that's not Ladd. Chargers bye week, if you're curious, is week 12. So pretty late in the season. Obviously, the target competition is not helping with QJ and Keenan. But there's still time for QJ to trend down, and it's Ladd McConkey. They're going to need him. The O-line injury is also not helping. And if teams are viewing QJ as the one, maybe that helps Ladd. Gadsden, 22 routes here. That's an improvement. Hampton is the only running back who played. Giants with Neighbors lost for the season. Tough break there. It's Wandale. It's Slayton. It's Jalen Hyatt. It's Theo Johnson. Scatterbo played 57 snaps to Singletary's 19. Again, I doubt this offense is going to be fun, but Slayton should have some boom bust weeks. Maybe he spams Wandale and like RPO stuff. I don't know. Theo Johnson, he's you can throw a stab there. Garrett, thanks for the super chat. I'm 0-4. Tough. 12-man PPR. I got Drake May, Daniel Jones, Bijan, Kyron, Javonte, Rashee Rice, Brock Bowers, Quentin Johnston, Olave, Jennings, Diggs, Travis Hunter. I've lost some close. You think I hold? Well, if you could trade one of your quarterbacks, man, I think you hold. Because Rice is coming back. Like, maybe you sell QJ here. See if you could sell QJ for an improvement. Like, package QJ and Kyron for, like, Jahmyr Gibbs. See if someone will do that, Because you got some pieces here. Brock Bowers is another one. Like, I just think he's not healthy. Period. I definitely think Brock Bowers is getting hurt by the boomer coaches. But I think that just has to be his knee brace, man. Like, he had 100 receiving yards in a quarter against the Patriots. He has like a negative ADOT right now. So that's what I think. I think Ladd and Bowers both are injured, and I don't know when they'll be healthy. I don't know how serious these injuries are. But yeah, like maybe Javonte and QJ, like I'm kind of surprised you're 0-4, dude. You got some guys here. You got Bijan, you got Javonte, you got QJ. Diggs is trending up too. I think Travis Hunter will trend up, but like he's not like an exciting start right now. But when you're 0-4 too, like nothing wrong with just trying some trades, man. Try something different. Okay. Eagles pretty easily dispatched the Bucs, despite the Bucs coming back in this one a little bit. 31-25. Hurts 2 touchdowns. Saquon very inefficient. Like he kind of got there all on long runs last year, a bunch against the Rams. He's not doing that this year. 19 carries, 43 yards, a touchdown. Like, don't think it's crazy to say people would prefer James Cook straight up over Saquon. Dallas Goedert, 4 for 37 and 2 touchdowns off of like 2 shuffle pass touchdowns. Saquon, 31 yards in the air. AJ Brown does seem upset. Like, people are like, oh, will they trade him? I doubt it. They want to win the Super Bowl. I don't think they care about AJ Brown's feelings. AJ Brown did tweet something out where he's kind of like, he wants yards more than winning, which is like kind of bold, but yeah, terrible day for the passing game. They are 4-0 though, so it's working. Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns, 290 yards. Bucky Irving got an MRI after this game, so definitely would scoop up Rashad White and Sean Tucker. Depending on how severe that injury is. Bucky Irving did have 102 receiving yards and a touchdown. Most of this came on one play. Emeka Egbuka scored on like a crazy catch too, 4 101 and 1. I do think he's a negative regression candidate, but like I have him in leagues and I'm starting him. Chris Godwin got played a lot, got targeted a lot, so I don't know how healthy he is, but 3 for 26 for him. The Eagles are wholly uninteresting to look at. Will Shipley only 4 snaps compared to A.J. Dillon's 8. I have to assume this is because it was like a tight game and Will Shipley is working back from injury. I do think as the season goes, Will Shipley will play more. So he's someone I would still want to hold. And maybe even trade for. Routes run with no Mike Evans. 41 routes for Emeka, 40 for Godwin, 10 targets for Godwin. So I don't know if this is just so teams actually guard him or like I didn't get to see how good he looked. Clearly not a good day. 3 for 26, but like, man, this is a starter. 40 routes, 10 targets. Cade Otton, 40 routes as well, only 4 targets. He's disappointing. And then it's only Bucky and Rashad White, but you wonder if that changes with Bucky having the MRI. He is a small guy, Colts and Rams. The Adonai Mitchell game, some are saying. Rams prevail 27-20. Shout out Tutu Atwell. 375 yards and 3 touchdowns for Matthew Stafford. Stick that in your ceiling. Kyron Williams, 13 carries, 77 yards. Blake Corum, 9 for 21. Puka Nacua, 13, 170, and 1. So I didn't get everything right, but I did get Puka right. I did get James Cook right. I have 20% Puka on DraftKings. The thing I did that was a little like once I knew you could get second round Puka Nacua on Underdog, which I thought was just wholly wrong. Despite me liking Puka a ton, and I kind of regret this with how good he is I would not take him in the first as much because despite me loving him, I wanted to get him in the second round, you know? Like once I see that happen a couple times, I'm like, okay, those are the best teams you can make, period. So I would risk not having more Puka to get him in the second round to have some awesome teams. And that's why I have a team with like CMC and Puka, you know? But on DK, I just was getting more Puka in the second round, I guess, and I drafted more late. So that's why I have 20% there. I have like 16 teams of Puka on Underdog, so fine, but 13 for 170 and 1. Tutu Atwell, 1 for 88 and 1. Devontae Adams, 4, 56 and 1. Tutu is like best ball only, obviously. Devontae and Puka, though, they're like wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 10 or something. Yeah, I had drafted a team in May, and the guy took Puka right before me, and then I took Bowers. I thought he was going to take Bowers, so I was prepared to take Puka. Kind of a bummer. Puka Nacua is, I think, easily just the number one player in fantasy football. That's 2 years in a row that the market put the number one player in fantasy football at the back half of the second round or the back half of the first round. They did it with Chase too down the year. Jonathan Taylor, 17 for 76. Chips in 5 catches for 20 yards. Still a good game. Had a touchdown called back because of Adonai Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell, 3 for 96. And then fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line, killing a ton of people, myself included. 262 and 1 for Daniel Jones. Only -1 rushing yards for Daniel Jones. So 5 for 70 for Tyler Warren. Michael Pittman, 5 for 41 and 1. Josh Downs, 4 for 24. Pretty disappointing for Josh Downs. Routes, it was 33 routes for Pittman, 32 for Adonai, 25 for Josh Downs. A lot of people are like, oh, Adonai's got to get benched. He's got to never play again. I personally think that, like, okay, I know this game was, like, so bad. He was very idiotic, but, like, he has the talent. You play him, and you just tell him, like, dude, do not ever drop the football again until you cross the out-of-bound line. Like, that's coachable. Let's be serious, right? Hold the ball, run out of the end zone, okay? You know, you can coach that type of stuff. You cannot coach someone who can juke someone out and run 90 yards. So it's disappointing for Josh Downs, but yeah, with no Alec Pierce, I think Adonai will play. Don't know how serious. I think Pierce just has a concussion, but you know. And Jonathan Taylor is the only running back. Like, even when he didn't score a touchdown, he had a good day. So awesome pick. Tyler Warren, awesome pick. Colts, I don't think they're not the Bills. They're not even the Ravens, but they're frisky. They could win in a 1 week matchup. Rams, Tutu Atwell out-routed by Whittington, but did get the long bomb. This is what we envisioned in Best Ball Land. Tyler Higbee dominating the routes run here. Nothing doing in the box score. And 14 targets for Puka is just unreal. Like, wouldn't you just put 3 guys on him at a certain point and be like, you know what? Beat me with Tutu. Beat me with Whittington. Blake Corum and Kyron, 51 snaps to 22, 12 carries to 9, 29 routes to 7, 4 targets each, though. So Blake Corum, a decent RB2 to hold. Jags beat the Niners. I played the Jags defense in a lot of places. A lot of metrics had them as the 3rd best defense in football, and I think they showed that. 26-21, scored a punt return touchdown, I think, or kickoff return. Trevor Lawrence, not a great day, 174 and 1, but they're winning football games. 19 carries for Travis Etienne, 124 yards and a touchdown. Also had, oh no, nothing in the air. So yeah, I mean, on the Etienne front, I had mentioned this a couple times and wrote this up. Like, does he suck or was he just injured? Was I had a ton last year? And yeah, I think the answer is pretty clear. He was just injured, but he looks very good. Bishal Tutin, not a lot in this game, 4 for 14. Think he'll play more, but again, he's in the red non-contact at practice. Brian Thomas, 5 for 50. Bretton Strange, 6 for 45. Travis Hunter, 3 for 42. I wrote on Twitter before the game that like my theory is Travis Hunter will play more in games where they're not facing an alpha wide receiver, and that seemed to be true. He is pretty much in the Chris Godwin role, but they're just not, when Trevor Lawrence has 174 passing yards, that's not going to cut it. But he did play more on offense, 23 routes compared to 29 for Washington and Brian Thomas. So, when the Jaguars are not facing Nico Collins, Jamar Chase, expect Hunter to be more on offense. And we just need Travis Hunter to have more passing yards for him to be fantasy usable. Still think he could be an awesome pick down the line, but obviously disappointing to date. Bretton Strange is a pretty awesome tight end, 26 routes, 7 targets. I still think Brian Thomas is a buy low too, 7 targets for him. ETN, LaQuint Allen, and Tutin all playing in there, but ETN dominating the workload, 41 snaps, 19 carries, 11 routes. LaQuint is probably playing some because he pass protects and because Tutin is banged up. 49ers, Ricky Pearsall got hurt. Juwan Jennings got hurt. Don't know the severity. I'm guessing Ricky misses time, but I do not know. Jennings, yeah, same thing. I don't know. So team is like everyone is hurt except for CMC. CMC, the question is once he starts scoring touchdowns, that's when he's going to start scoring like 35, 40. Same thing with Puka. In games where Puka Nacua scores a touchdown, the man is a walking 30 points, So CMC is a buy low if someone's not valuing that he's not scoring touchdowns. He's an inefficient runner right now, right? He's 17 carries, 49 yards, 2.9 average, but who cares when you get 6 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown? And maybe efficiency improves when Kittle's back, when Ayuk's back, if they're back. Brian Robinson played barely at all. Kendrick Bourne is out there in super deep leagues. Demarcus Robinson probably going to play more now that he's not suspended. Jake Tongus is your tight end, I guess. Ugh. Chiefs beat down the Ravens. What's crazy is Lamar exited with a hamstring injury, and I don't think so. I think he quit. Either he quit or the coaches quit. 37-20. I think they just either he or they did not like him being hit enough or hit that much because he certainly didn't look hurt. So my guess is that he plays, but I don't know. Maybe it's a serious hamstring injury. Probably not, though. Terrible day for the Ravens other than Justice Hill. Justice Hill, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, inefficient. Doesn't get used that much. Team is not that good. So, yeah, he's a silent killer right now. He is... People want to say that, oh, they've played all these tough run defenses. At a certain point, it's you, right? Like, it can't be 3 out of the 4 teams you played have tough run defenses. That's 3/4 of the team. It's a combination of him, the O-line, and the team. Isaiah Likely, 20 routes, no targets, though. So Mark Andrews is definitely a sell high if you can get him out there. Keaton Mitchell still not playing. That's disappointing. Tylen Wallace and Hopkins are sharing wide receiver 3. Mahomes looks much better with Worthy in the lineup. 5 for 83 for him. Hollywood Brown scored a touchdown. Juju scored a touchdown. I actually have a Juju Eliminator team alive. 13 carries for Kareem Hunt. Pacheco looked like he caught a touchdown, but he could have scored another and didn't. And I think the story for the Chiefs is Brashard Smith is playing more other than Worthy. Brashard Smith, 19 snaps, 4 carries, 4 targets, 10 routes. All are playing, but yeah, I think Smith will trend up as the season goes, and the other 2 probably trend down. They're running 12 personnel too with Noah Gray, a bunch of snaps. And then, yeah, like Mahomes is kind of a buy low because you get Worthy healthy, you get Rashid Rice healthy. kind of watch out. So I still think the Chiefs are dangerous, or maybe it's just that the Ravens defense is so bad. Bears and Raiders, this game was whatever. Bears win 25-24. I guess Ashton Jeanty is not dead. 3 touchdowns for him. 21 carries, 140 yards, a touchdown, 2 receiving touchdowns. Brock Bowers, 5 for 46. Most of this came late. Geno Smith, 3 interceptions. So, yeah, I just think Brock Bowers is not healthy, period. I don't know when he'll be healthy. He's not on the injury report, but he has that massive brace and just doesn't look the same. Kind of fine in FFPC leagues, but, yeah, it's not what we drafted, folks. But, this is best ball is a weird game where maybe the guy gets healthy in the playoffs and is a league winner, a contest winner. For the Bears, Swift scores a touchdown. Caleb Williams throws for 1 to Rome, who continues to smash. Cole Kmet gets a bunch of targets, which Colston Loveland missed this game. The Bears have a bye this week, so that's encouraging for me with Loveland bags. You have to think Kmet, who got 8 targets in this one, we will see, hopefully, I'm hoping that they were just cautious with the bye, give Loveland another week, return him, and let's get some of those targets to Loveland, but I don't know. Burden also barely played. I'm curious what he plays after the bye. You hope it comes at the expense of Olamide Zaccheaus. ESPN Analytics, we got to talk about that real quick. So this is a combination of wide receiver, tight end. They have their own formula. You can read it, but they're top players in football right now. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, so the Bears, Dalton Kincaid, Lad McConkey, hashtag ball knowers, Jalen Waddle, Puka Nacua 6. I don't think it counts this past week. This is just their overall ranking, a composite of how open you are, how good you do catching the football, and what is your yard after catch ability. So interesting list that they have both the Bears guys there. Don't think DJ Moore is going to get traded, but you never know. And then Kyle Monangai is your RB2. I guess Roshan Johnson is an utter 0. For the Raiders, it was a combination of them letting Zamir White was inactive for kick return responsibilities, which led to Gene T actually getting targets. Maybe they should do that more. It worked. Only 2 targets for him, but he did score 2 targets, 2 receiving touchdowns. Maybe we should do that more. Gene T looked unreal. The O-line still sucks, though. And then, Bowers, 20 routes run, 6 targets. So he's getting used, but you hope he just gets healthy over time. I think the Raiders have a week 8 bye. Trey Tucker and Myers are the route run leaders here. Trey Tucker goes back down to earth as expected. Mostert was the RB2 with no Zamir White. Packers and Cowboys play a wacky one. Yeah, the Packers are a good team, man. A great team, but they just don't put teams away. They had a chance to open the game to, go for it on 4th and 1 from, the 45 or 50-yard line, and they punted. That's keeping bad teams around. So, ends in a tie, 40-40. Love, 3 touchdowns, 337 yards. Josh Jacobs, 22 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. Emmanuel Wilson was the RB2. Josh Jacobs also led the way in receiving, 4 catches, 71 yards. Romeo Doubs, 6 catches, 58 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tucker Kraft got tackled at the 1 twice, 5 for 56 for him. Matthew Golden, 5 for 58. He stole a ball away from Dontavian Wicks, hashtag alpha. It's got to be better days ahead for Golden. He's a little better in best ball, though. Dontavian Wicks, a very disappointing 2 for 19 without Jaden Reed. The Cowboys looked terrible, and then they clawed back in, 319 for 3 for Dak. Javonte Williams, 20, 85, and 1 on the ground. Miles Sanders got banged up in this one, so I think Jaden Blue will be active next week. George Pickens, 8, 134, and 2 on real game for him without CeeDee Lamb. Jalen Tolbert, 4 for 61. Jake Ferguson, 7, 40, and 1. Devontae Turpin, 3 for 30. Usage here is interesting. It is clearly Dobbs, Wicks, and Golden for routes run. So those are the only guys running routes for the Packers. Tucker Kraft, also 38 routes, 5 targets. And then running back, it's clearly the Josh Jacobs show. They have a week 5 bye, and Marshawn Lloyd is on IR. I'm going to pick up Marshawn Lloyd in some leagues and just see when he comes back. He looked good when he was healthy, but health has been a problem there. So, got to be better days ahead for Wicks and Golden. Dobbs gets the 3 touchdowns here. For the the Cowboys, also interesting. Tolbert, 34 routes. Turpin, 28. Pickens, 40. So, Turpin, Tolbert, Pickens. Those are your top 3 guys with no Lamb. Ferguson, 32 routes. He's your top tight end. And then when Miles Sanders exited the game, it was all Javonte and some Hunter Lupke, the fullback. You would think Jaden Blue has to be active. I don't know how severe Miles Sanders' injury is. And like the Cowboys are like fantasy fun because they have like one of the best offenses and one of the worst defenses. Chris Brooks, yeah, like he was getting some RB2, but now it's Emmanuel Wilson again. So kind of happy. Like teams do this when it's like, okay, you're not giving us anything. Let's see what you got, you know? 2 Monday night games. Tyreek Hill, possibly a career-ending injury, unfortunately, the way his leg looked. Not a good guy, Tyreek, but yeah, I think he still had it for fantasy. So I have him in some spots. That stinks for the Tyreek drafters. Tua, 2 touchdowns. Achane, 20 carries, 99 yards, a touchdown. Tyreek Hill, 6 for 67 before getting hurt. Darren Waller, 2 touchdowns. Kind of looked good. Jalen Waddle, 3 for 48. So I think you're going to want to add Malik Washington. Yes, add Darren Waller, but that's probably fool's gold. But you never know because Jonnu was a smash. Ollie Gordon, 6 for 10. Justin Fields continues to look absolutely awful. But like I think Justin Fields will not be a starter next year, and I think he will be benched at some point this year. He did have an electric 50-yard touchdown run, though, so that helps. 781 and 1 on the ground, 2 for 26 and 1 in the air for him. Breece Hall, 14 for 81. Garrett Wilson kind of had a BS OPI, nullifying a touchdowns. Did go 682 and 1, though, still. Mason Taylor looks alive, 5 for 65 for him. Braylon Allen, oh my God, man. The mental health of the Braylon Allen drafters is so bad. I didn't see that Braylon Allen got hit in the knee. And I just saw him, I saw him just like fumble the ball and then whatever, made some food or something. And I was like, Braylon Allen looks good. And like all these people who don't follow me are like, victory lapping an injury. I hope all your guys die. It's like, dude, if you think I've been doing this a long time. If you think I'm victory lapping injuries, obviously you just don't like me anyways. Touch some grass, losers. Touch some grass. But yeah, Braylon Allen. Do think there's some positive news there. Does not seem like it's season ending. He did fumble, and honestly, he's never looked that good. Kind of crazy steam on him in best ball land, but probably looking like a 4-week to 6-week injury versus a season long. Breece Hall, less likely to get traded, though, with Braylon banged up, and Isaiah Davis, you could scoop in deep leagues. So the Jets, I don't think we care here, but it's Garrett Wilson, it's Mason Taylor. The wide receivers don't matter. Maybe they trade Lazard to the Steelers with Calvin Austin hurt. So maybe Alan Lazard is like a sneaky pickup. Isaiah Davis is the clear RB2 with Braylon out of the picture for now. And then the Dolphins is interesting because Tyreek got hurt. So Malik Washington, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine both played, but I think we clearly want Malik. They also have Taj Washington, I think, a 7th-round rookie. But yeah, I think you clearly want Malik here. Darren Waller is worth adding just to see if he can build off of this. He's not going to score 2 touchdowns a week. Achane dominating the workload. Ollie Gordon, though, is a hold. 6 carries for him. Got some attempts in close. And then this game was so boring, man. The Bengals and the Broncos. I think Zach Taylor is easily going to be fired at the end of this year. Probably they'll hire Joe Brady. He has connections to Joe Burrow, the Bills offensive coordinator. The Bengals, their roster just sucks, man. I still think Chase is a buy low. 2 tough defenses. He should get spammed with targets. But it's bleak. I'm not going to lie. It's Chase, Yoshi, Voss, and Higgins running the routes. It's Gesicki running the routes. It's Chase Brown as the RB1. We know that. Noah Fant missed this one. Revenge game taken away. For the Broncos, the big story here is Sutton, Franklin, Mims. I guess in the blowout, they let Pat Bryant get out there. They did win 28-3. And then really what they used this game for, which was smart, is like, okay, we're winning by a lot. Let's let RJ Harvey play a lot and send Tyler Beatty to 0. Dobbins and Harvey split the workload, split the routes run, split the carries. Harvey got 5 targets. In the box score, Dobbins, 16 carries, 101 yards. First 100-yard rusher under Sean Payton for the Broncos. But Harvey, 1458 on the ground. And more importantly, 440 and 1 in the air. Also think he could have had another one. Sutton scored a touchdown. Mims did 5 for 69. I don't think Bo Nix is that good. They just played the Bengals, Yeah, man. This stuff is crushing the late round Dobbins. Like that's like for the eliminator folks where they're like, oh, I want to draft. Like, no, the best team you could draft was you. We don't care what's good on average. We care about building the team that goes far. And that's hard for people to wrap their head around. Because they're like, oh, on average, like I want 80 teams instead of 60 teams. It's like, no, dude. You want one team to go to week 17. And the best team you could build had round 18 Dobbins, round 17 Keenan, and round 10 Igbuka. Like, plus Puka, whatever, You could build good teams late, but that's the best team I think you can build right now. So that's it for the usage, folks. We'll look at my eliminator teams before we get out of here. I got to get some food. Advance rates going good in the high stakes. Crazy week. It was a crazy week in that it was very high scoring. Advancing 28 right now. It was very high scoring. A lot of rookies scored well, and a lot of injuries occurred. And it's a reminder, things can change fast, right? Like you can have teams in 12th that will advance. You can go from scoring like 120, 120 to 180, right? Like life comes fast. So I'm advancing 28 out of 150 right now, but a ton of teams that are close, which feels good, right? Like 18 points, 1 point, 2 points, 28, 8, 8, 8, 2, 20, 30, 21. Like you might think, oh, 40 points is a lot, but it's not. You score 20 more, your opponent scores 20 less. That's 40-point gap right there. My eliminator teams, 13 remain for me. Lost some good teams, which sucks. Like, particularly my Puka teams. I ran 3 Puka teams into just 3 better teams this week. I lost a Jefferson Puka team. Stinks. I lost a Puka Amon-Ra team. Stinks. And I lost a Puka Achane team. Particularly, I'm upset about the Puka Jefferson and Puka Amon-Ra team. And all my Puka teams that are advancing are like, so this one's Puka Henry. This one's Puka Nico. This one's Puka Nico. And this one's Puka Nico. This one's Puka Nico. So it's like, I like Nico, but I would have liked some variety there, 13 teams left for me, though. Let's look at a couple of them. CMC, Cook, Henderson, Judkins. That feels good. Baker, Trevor, Dart. That feels good. London, Hunter, Igbuka, Jennings, Keon, Bateman. That feels okay. Loveland, Otten, Higbee. Bye weeks are starting, folks. So bye weeks will be part of the picture. Hurts, Stroud. Yeah, it's like this running back room sucks. Pacheco, Judkins this week. Goff, Herbert, Penix. This is the one that Davis and I drafted together. CMC, Achane, Harvey, Dobbins, Woody Marks, Kendrick. Awesome team, honestly. JSN, Big Mike, JMO, Golden, Mooney, Shaheed, Douglas, Kincaid, Pitts. Survivor talk. Courtesy of Splash Sports. Promo code Cheslium over there. I have 5 left. I lost 2 this past week. I lost 1 in the Packer tie, brutal, and 1 in the Chargers loss, where I just picked the favorites. But these were my most valuable teams, the teams where these are the picks I thought were the best, the Texans and the Patriots. I just thought it was risky to choose them in all of them when I have so much entries, but now I'm down to 5, Looks like 10,475 out of 16,337 remain. So 64% remain going into week 5. Looks like the pick for people are going to be, this is a good week to pick the Giants and get them out of the way. This is a good pick to, the Vikings people will pick. I think people will pick the Ravens. People will pick, this is a good week to use the Dolphins. Like game theory wise, okay, it's risky picking these not so good teams, but a lot of people already use the Cardinals, but good week to use them if you haven't. Obviously, like the Lions are like the lock to win type of team. I don't think it's crazy to pick the Jags. I would not want to do that though. And like the Colts are reasonable. If you want to be really risky, you pick the winner of this game. But I think most people, kind of a weird week. I think on my original one, I picked the Giants. But I think I might split my entries between Giants, Dolphins and just be like, well, it's risky, but I got through the Giants. I got through the Dolphins, and I still have the Bills left, the Ravens left, the Chiefs left, the Eagles left. That's a valuable entry. All right, folks, we'll be back tomorrow to do the Best Ball Leaderboard show. Probably do it solo this week. Just haven't had time to reach out to anyone. Probably just add guests in later in the year. That's where I'll look through some of my teams, talk about the best ball landscape, the fantasy landscape, answer more things you have. Like, subscribe, join the Discord. The link is below. Appreciate you, folks. Have good luck this week.